Trick or treat is in the air. Halloween, the frightful season is upon us. And we are literally now less than 100 hours away. That's right, less than 100 hours away from a Bonfire 3, a nightmare on Ellesmere Road, and arguably one of the matches that is going to be the pinnacle of the trick or treat Halloween season is our guest tonight, who is going to talk a lot about his match upcoming, his now tag team handicap match that he has certainly got the odds stacked once again in his favor for, against somebody who last month was on the show and gave his side of the story. But now that I'm back in full strength, 100%, I'm going to get a chance to talk a little bit more about it and hear now his side of the story. I forgot the last time he came on here to Sportswire Radio, but he's going to make up for it and remind me of the last time he was on. But he's on here, and I'll assure you that this will be a far bigger, better, badder, and oh, by the way, a more frightful experience than the first time he came on. He needs no further introduction, but because he's a ring announcer and does this far better than I will ever do, we have to give him that introduction that he so rightfully deserves. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the general manager for Bolton Town Wrestling. That is Lucas Jackson. My friend, how the hell are you?
Oh, I am superb, Tom. I am absolutely superb. Listen, if you could do that for 120 minutes for a show, I would pay you a lot of money.
Well, first of all, thankfully, I don't need the money. And secondly, I can tell you right now, I don't think I could pull it off for 120. I can talk with you maybe and some shows for 120 minutes, but I know for a fact after what I went through last month, when obviously somebody who you referred to here below, I could barely do it for literally 45 minutes. Just speaking, we'll certainly get to that, I'm sure, another time. But it is a tremendous honor. It has been almost 2 years since you have been on here to Sportswire Radio, but you've got good reasons why you're back here and some, because this Friday coming up at Bolton Town Wrestling's Bonfire 3, a nightmare on Ellesmere Road. You've certainly got the odds in your favor because you have got the modern day mafia with you, and you certainly pulled a rabbit out of the hole in this one when it comes to this. And will tell us why, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, why you've got the odds in your favor once again with the modern day mafia against last month's against Maverick Matt Williams and AJ Grimm.
So, a few weeks ago, at the last Bolton Town Wrestling event, Maverick Matt Williams decided, completely unprovoked, to super kick me. Completely unprovoked. I mean, okay, sure, maybe in the Rumble I entered, maybe I made him enter number 2. And then, single-handedly, I might add, I disposed of him from the
I
Rumble,
watched the show.
eliminating
Yes, I agree.
his chance to win that title belt that he held for 4 minutes. Disappointing.
Well, I didn't even realize it was that long. I thought it was actually less than that, but we kind of joked about that the first time Matt was on this show.
To be fair to Matt, when Jack entered the ring, he did kind of walk around a little bit before he actually took the away. So, that probably accounts for it. A little bit of that time.
Okay, I mean, I certainly get where this is going, but this seems to be personal. He spoke at the end of our segment last month that this is personal between you and him. I mean, you have certainly done things, I'm sure, that I guess most people would say, well, that was it a bit much? Was it a, how can I say, maybe an abuse of power? I mean, how do you feel how all this has transpired? Because something tells me here that this isn't just about the last few months.
No, no, you're quite right, Tom. Your perception is impeccable. So let me. Are you ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? Let me take you back
Well, you're here with
to
us and he's not in the ring.
2019.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me take you back to 2019. Two younger, not very young, but younger, uh, scallywags walk into a wrestling ring with WWE legend Ashton Smith
Yep.
to take their first ever wrestling session. Those two people were Lucas Jackson, the Mayhem, and Maverick Matt Williams. Now, I kind of think that Matt was jealous of me from the very start. I had a really good knowledge of wrestling, an understanding of the business, an understanding of matches, you know, and and while I wasn't overly athletic, um, I think he was jealous of me. He always wanted to have matches with me. He would, I don't know if you saw the picture I put up a few days ago with Maverick in the Mayhem lock. You
Yes,
know,
I did. I did see that.
you
Yes, I
know, bringing
actually,
back
oh, I
memories
saw it.
of uh, bringing back memories for Matt of just what I can do. And when we both started in Bolton, and he found out that I had been appointed the general manager, again, I think he was jealous. I think he was jealous. He came to me and said, "Lucas, I'm struggling. The fans, I'm struggling to get over with the fans. They don't seem to be cheering me. Can you please help me? Can you give me an open challenge? Then I can choose my opponents. I can get some easy wins." So, I was a good general manager. I was trying to give him the best opportunity, and we gave him some open challenges. Um, Axel Strife was his first
I
one,
know Axel Strife. Yep, I remember that. Sure.
and and then the Wrecking Crew hit
Oh,
Bolton Town
I
Wrestling,
know them very well. That them, I've had them on the show, as you know. Yes, know them very well.
and they disrespected me, very very much disrespected me, while in the same instance destroying and leaving Maverick Matt Williams in the ring.
Well, that's what
So
they do. Listen, the Wrecking Crew.
that is
Listen,
what they do.
they listen. They basically do not approve of any authority, and that's what they do. Basically, just get out of their way.
It is. It is. So we gave Matt a chance to uphold the honour of Bolton Town Wrestling, to uphold the honour of his hometown. And did he? Disappointing Matt Williams lost the tag team match that then gave a contract to the Wrecking Crew, who are now on Friday going for the first time ever BTW tag team titles. So he let the Wrecking Crew in because he was disappointing. And then over the course of the last year, I've I've found it to be a mission of mine to try and push Maverick, to try and get the best out of Maverick. So I challenged him. I gave him difficult situations, but honestly, hand on heart, Tom, I thought he could manage it. You know, I put him into the gauntlet. He wanted title gold. I put him into the gauntlet. I put him in number one because I felt he needed the challenge. I felt he needed the push, the motivation to push himself to that next level. And that's all I've ever wanted for Maverick Matt Williams is for him to get to that next level. But in in getting to that next level, he got his hands on the title, and then Jack Johnson
Well, he had his
disappointing.
hands on the title, and that was about it. I mean, literally, it's one of the
It
more
was.
infamous title runs you're going to find here in the UK. So, I'm hearing you talk about this stuff, though. And okay, go ahead. No, all right, go ahead. Finish your thought because I have a follow up. But
I
go
was,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, you say infamous, I say disappointing. And then, so I give him the opportunity, another opportunity. I am just such a giver, Tom. I am just such a giving general manager. But I gave him the opportunity to try and win the Rumble, to get a title shot, another title shot, after in between, he'd lost his rematch with
Yeah.
Jack Johnson.
Yes.
So I gave him another opportunity to get a title shot. Like I say, I'm trying to push this lad. I'm trying to give him motivation. So I put him in at not number one. I didn't give him the Shawn Michaels spot because I know he wants to be Shawn Michaels so badly. I gave him number two. And what did he do? Well, okay, he was doing all right, but
I
then
mean, he lasted a long time in the
some
Rumble. He did very well. I mean,
on until when? Until when, Tom? Until a superior wrestler entered the Rumble.
some may say you had help, though, in that.
Help? Joel Cobra might have been in the ring at that moment in time.
I know Joe Cobra very
Um,
well, and I did see that with
but
my own two eyes.
but who took Maverick Matt Williams and disposed of him over the top rope?
Well, that would be you, Lucas Jackson, the general manager of Bolton Town Wrestling. I'll give you
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. So in that capacity, I was a wrestler because I had entered the Rumble. And then on the very next show, after Maverick Matt Williams takes Dougie, one of the rising stars of Britannia Wrestling Promotions from Wales, as his tag team partner against the Black Sheep and loses, I come in the ring just to talk to him, just to try and give him a little motivational pep talk. And then he super kicks me unprovoked. Now, at that point, apparently, I offered him a match and he accepted. I have no recollection of this. To be fair, I might have been on the canvas and slightly unconscious, but I still have no recollection of this. But I have been told by my boss that I have to take part in this match. So if I have to be there and I have to show up Maverick Matt Williams one more time, I'm going to get some of the best help to make me do that. And that's where the modern day mafia come in.
Well, I'm going to get to that shortly, but I wanted to ask you because, you spoke about this timeline, and obviously Maverick Matt Williams, the first time he was here on Sportswire Radio, spoke about the fact that, he started out in 2019 and he's progressed. But, you spoke about some things that might be a fair discussion to have with you because you know him better than anybody. You started 4 years ago with him. I've been covering him now, I want to say, for about 2 years. And, maybe there is a point that he has been disappointing in the ring in his results because I have seen him collectively here in BTW and in other places that may name nameless. And, the track record for a guy, you would think about Matt Williams and who he's wrestled in the ring and what he's done compared to his peers in that same amount of time. And, the records are, kind of in the history books to be left to be desired. I mean, do you think it's fair then to criticize or maybe characterize Matt Williams' 4 years so far in this business as maybe disappointing?
I think you just categorized it as disappointing there, Tom. I think you and me are on the same wavelength here. I mean, how many title reigns has Maverick Matt got? 4 minutes. One title reign, 4 minutes.
In other promotions, I haven't seen him win a title. I mean, I've seen him in those
exactly
one company in particular with 3 initials also, and hasn't won there yet.
No, our very good friends just across the Pennines. He's been there.
Yes.
He's been given opportunities. Now I know they don't have a general manager, but the people that head it up over there have been very giving of opportunities to Maverick Matt Williams, even giving him Gung Ho Muttley as a tag team partner. Now,
yes.
I have the utmost respect for Gung Ho Muttley, but Maverick, he seems to be the weak link in that team. And when you look at the team that is coming to Bolton, this club of degenerates that are coming into Bolton on Friday, Maverick Matt Williams and AJ Grimm, one is like 6'4", 6'5". The other's like 2'1". Who's the weak link there? Okay, sorry, 2'3". Who's the weak link? You listen to that narrative. Who's the weak link? It's
Well, I
Matt
would say,
Williams.
listen, I mean, I've seen Gung Ho and Matt Williams in the ring, so I could certainly say, well, certainly Gung Ho may have the better hair. He has, obviously, he's got the mullet these days, the mullet that everybody aspires to. I mean, but certainly Matt, I think, in terms of his ring skills, has shown that he's also an equal person in that tag team. But, AJ Grimm, you make a point that certainly does give some strength. But are you concerned in any way then, in talking about this in terms of the fact that he's brought AJ Grimm in, a guy who's got some muscle, a guy who's got some strength? Are you concerned maybe that this Bolton club is going to try to even the odds and maybe turn the tables on you Friday night?
Well, that's where the master plan comes in. Because Maverick's gone and found himself a very scary monster. I've got two of my very own ginger bearded monsters
I know
in the
him very
modern
well,
day
though. Those
mafia.
particular bearded monsters, I know him very well.
Absolutely. So you tell me, am I scared? Am I scared? I'm gonna be standing in that ring with the modern day mafia flanking me as I lead them to our victory.
Now, you did certainly listen. I'll give you this much, and we're going to certainly get to comments in a second. I have a few different comments. I promise I'll work everybody in there. I'll say hello. I also want to plug Bolton Town Wrestling here in a few minutes shortly. But, some may say that you basically mortgaged the farm for this one here because you've got the mafia, you've got the MDM, but the MDM, the way this has all been negotiated, have got themselves now interjected in this tag team title match that you just spoke about, where we'll see some other teams in there, like the Wrecking Crew. So, I mean, are you okay with the idea that basically you had to be kind of forced to negotiate to allow the Mafia to now maybe get their shot at tag team gold by standing with you and certainly giving you the upper hand?
Now, I think force is an interesting term there for it. I personally, modern day mafia in the title contention at Bolton Town Wrestling, while disappointing is my word for Maverick Matt Williams, inevitable is a word for modern day mafia in
They do
any
hold gold in another
companies.
promotion. I would give you that. They certainly do. Fair
Exactly.
play.
In any company's title.
I have seen them and certainly wrestle in other promotions for a tag team title and dispose of tag teams. I'll give you that. But, some do feel that they didn't earn this one, though. Did you use your position of power to maybe help them out and get there? That's kind of what I'm asking. How do you feel about that?
Tom, are you saying that the modern day mafia are undeserving of a title shot?
I'm not saying they're undeserving. What I'm saying is, did you use your position of power to give them maybe almost a kickstart to get there?
So you say that I've abused my position of power, but if you look at what we did for Maverick with the Open Challenge, was that not also an abuse of power? I am the general manager. I have to make business decisions. I have to make what is best for Bolton. And the modern day mafia being involved is best for Bolton.
I think that's a fit. Now, that I agree with you on. The Mafia certainly are good for business. And the Mafia, we could always use a little dose of Mafia here. Let me get to some comments here because people would like to say hello. I know that some people are tuning in from different places of the world. Skulls the Soul Hunter says he didn't know how to play his cards. I don't know who he's referring to on the cards part, but I'll certainly read off the comment. They are just throwing Pokeball on something that they can't catch. I guess maybe he's talking about Matt Williams. I don't know.
I think it's that special elusive one, the disappointing mon.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe, which I'm surprised that Skulls would take that as his point of view. But hey, what do I know? He's up at 11:57 a.m. California time. Want to say hello to Mr. Michael Blackheart, whose father-in-law is a referee in the state of Indiana who I believe is having his final match in the ring coming up, I think, next week, if I'm not mistaken. So, congratulations to him on that. Hello, Michael. And Daniel Banner, somebody who does some training in another company with three initials, says, Mr. Lucas, it seems this jealousy towards Mr. Williams is getting silly. Why not just end this and move on? Because Matt will not stop until he ends your tyranny and abuse of power. This is the Triple H Brian Danielson treatment with Matt Williams. Well, I don't think, I think the last part's unfair, but do you want to answer the first part in that, some people believe that this is not my opinion, that some people believe that you have used your power to abuse it in a way to maybe stack the deck toward Maverick Matt Williams. What is your response to that?
Well, Daniel refers to the Danielson treatment, and what came out of that Danielson treatment? Did we get one of the best world champions that we've ever seen?
We did,
I
but
think we did.
we
I
did,
think we did.
but I think
Now,
Bentley would have something to say about that, though.
oh, I'm absolutely sure Bentley would. But how do you push someone? How do you get someone to that next level
Tough
without
love
giving
to
them some
make them go through
challenges?
things they don't want to go through. It
And
was like as a kid growing up, and my parents would try to force me to eat vegetables. Now I am in okay shape, but I certainly didn't want to eat those vegetables. Are you trying to basically make the
absolutely,
same thing?
absolutely. But in response to the first comment from Daniel, should I just end this? That's exactly what I plan to do when the modern day mafia join me on Friday. Is to end this, to get rid of Maverick Matt Williams from Bolton Town Wrestling.
Well, I think that you kind of stole some of my thoughts there, but let me read off some more comments. I believe I have a few
Great.
different people coming in and out. I want to say a little. I think this is Mr. Thomas Taft. I believe it's Thomas Taft. I believe this is a future guest on Sportswire, tuning in from the Mid Atlantic here in the United States. Hello, Rev, and hello, Mr. Jackson. Mafia Mob Ties Love It. I'm pretty sure this is Thomas Taft, so I want to say hello to Thomas Taft out there. I want to say hello to a couple of places who we haven't done coverage for, but we'll probably do them later on in the month of November. That is Dark Cryptic Wrestling, DKW. The guys just traveled out there in the Midwest. They're also in the state of Ohio. Nice to see you, Tom. Good to meet you, Mr. Lucas. Yes, and I look forward to seeing you guys also. WC Wrestling Championship Entertainment. Hello, Mr. Tom Bryce. How am I doing? Well, I'm here right now for a little while, and they also say hello to Mr. Lucas. They're also in the state of Wisconsin. So people are tuning in. I appreciate that. And while you're tuning in, I want to make sure if you want to follow BTW, you can do that on Instagram at Bolton Town Wrestling, Facebook, Bolton Town Wrestling, also Twitter, Bolton Wrestling. And if you want to buy a ticket, if you're in the area and you haven't got a chance to buy a ticket, go out there and buy it because, if you're thinking about it, you're still in the Halloween spirit, you're still in the trick or treat type of mood, and you want to see arguably one of the more personal matches this year, you are going to see the Modern Day Mafia and Lucas Jackson square off against Maverick Matt Williams and AJ Krim of the Bolton Club. The Bolton Club versus the MDM and Lucas Jackson. Mayhem, Lucas Jackson. And you look at the size of Mayhem, he certainly could give that. And we'll see if it's Maverick Matt Williams. Final days in Bolton Town Wrestling. You're going to certainly want to stay tuned, but please support BTW in any way possible. BTW has always been a company over the past 2 years that we've always enjoyed covering on Sportswire Radio, whether it's the likes of Bentley, the brand new champion, Jack Johnson, the former champion, and even debuting somebody else in the tag team title picture is a Wildfire Nate Reese. So a lot of people here from Sportswire, the Black Sheep. I mean, how could I forget about the Black Sheep? I mean, I think almost 3/4 of the Black Sheep have been on Sportswire in the past. I mean, who's who of people from BTW have been on Sportswire. So go out there and make sure that you support them. Okay, so obviously I've got some of these things and I've got an understanding of where you are in this. And I heard from Matt last month, but I mean, you've got the Mafia here and you've got them in your corner. So, I mean, what's the strategy then for you? Do you just sit back and let the Mafia take care of Maverick Matt Williams and AJ Grimm, and then you just come in there and pick up the scraps? Is that what we're going with here? I mean, talk about that for the audience.
You expect me to give away my strategy? Oh,
No,
Mr.
well, not
Bryce.
really, but I mean, I figured
Mr.
when I was
Bryce. I'm sure you are very familiar with some of the best wrestlers in the world and the way that they would deal with any sort of situation like this. You have two behemoths.
Two of the
Why
most
would
dominant big men in this scene in this country. I mean, two men that I have
absolutely?
had on. Dave Douglas doesn't need to speak because he just goes up in there and kicks people's butts. And Joe Cobra, Joe Cobra, you never know what kind of mood he's in, and just the size and strength that he brings to the ring. I've actually seen him take two people on at once in the ring and throw them around like rag dolls.
The thing with Joel Cobra is when he's smiling, you need to be worried.
Fair
You
play. I've
definitely
had him
need.
on here, I think, 4 or 5 times, and I always try my best to be kind to Mr. Cobra. So I will certainly give
Oh
you
yeah.
that much about Mr. Cobra.
But Tom, you're asking me about what am I going to do in the ring? Well, if you had two of the biggest, most dangerous pit bulls that you could have, would you bark at the postman yourself?
No, sir. No. No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Okay, so then
Exactly.
let me ask
I
a
will do.
follow up to that.
I will do what I need to do when I need to do it.
Okay, so I'll ask it in a different way because you know what? Fair
Okay.
play to you. You obviously have been on here in the past, and I always tell everybody here on Sportswire, don't give away the strategy. Don't tell us what you're going to do. So I got that. Fair play. And I agree with you, actually. I'm going to take your side on this. But then going into a match, though, like this, regardless, between now and Friday, or even in the weeks prior when Matt came on the show last month, and we're talking several weeks since the match has been announced. I mean, how do you prepare for a match like this, though? Are you training like you've never trained before? Are you doing anything differently? At least from that vantage point, can you talk about maybe some of the things you'll do going into Friday?
Um. Well, I've been taking my vitamins and saying my prayers, brother. Tom, I am a general manager. I am not an active wrestler. But since getting the Modern Day Mafia on my side, they have given me a very, very strict, rigorous routine to make sure that I can lift all 6 pounds of Maverick Matt Williams when I need to.
So you've actually measured that he's 6 pounds.
I asked Jock. Jock told me what it was on the cards. You know how a lot of the time are we allowed to give trade secrets away here that
Well, we
wrestlers
could talk about the match cards.
might
Yes,
not
when
be
people
might not
promote
be
the shows,
quite
they have a match card with the weight, the height. Yeah, I've seen that.
exactly,
Sure.
and wrestlers might embellish a tiny little bit, maybe about how tall they are or how big or how
Yeah,
little they want
listen,
to be.
wrestlers do embellish a few inches.
You
Yes,
know,
you're not wrong.
so when it says that Maverick is 5'6", 5'8", no, no. But 6 pounds that's probably about right for him. Jock said it was more, but
So for you, it'll be like lifting a bag of potatoes. You're saying.
yeah, yeah, probably maybe 1.5 bags of potatoes.
Okay, well, you know what? That's certainly some fair things to say. I guess we'll have to find out and watch the show itself. So, obviously, though, it's a really exciting card that we're a part of. So, as a general
Oh yeah.
manager, you
Oh,
put this card together, and are you still able to concentrate on your duties? Because we've got a stack card. We've got Bentley, who's obviously going to be preparing for his first actions as champion, the tag team title match. We've got the Black Sheep. We've got really, the roster here we've always spoke about, which I'll give everybody credit who's been involved in BTW. BTW has always been one of my favorite companies here on sports. But we've got Rarebit. Cannot forget about Rarebit. Rarebit's going to be in the ring. So, talk about maybe how you've been able to perform your duties here as GM while focusing on this match still.
well, I think when you've got a roster that's as talented and as easy to work with as a lot of the Bolton roster is. I
I've
mean, there's
heard
the
about
odd
that. That's
exception.
fair. I have heard that
There's
through
the,
the grapevine. Go ahead. You're
you
right.
know, there's the odd exception of those that like to disrespect me. Like Drill and Alex Boylin and Douchey. But at the end of the day, you've got such a talented roster, and everything that I put together on Bolton Town Wrestling is for the fans of Bolton. So we have got an absolutely phenomenal triple threat tag team match with Wildfire Nate Reese and Dynamite Lee versus the team of Boylan and Dushki versus the Wrecking Crew. Now, you tell me, if you were to pick three tag teams and throw them in there with the exception of Modern Day Mafia, because they're already taken that evening, you couldn't really get a much better tag team triple threat.
No, the Wrecking Crew, I know very well. I have seen them in the ring. I have seen what they've done. Matt Williams has seen them and gotten a front row seat with them. I saw Matt Williams team with Gareth Angel, and obviously, and he saw
Mm-hmm.
a front row seat with them. Well, certainly Matt Williams did. Nate Reese, I know very well. And Nate Reese is somebody that brings a lot to the table. So I agree with you fully in the fact that you've got some really stacked tag teams there, and that'll be an exciting match to see. And I'm sure the Mafia will certainly add a little what they always bring to the table. That's kick some butt and some. Or we always can use a little dose of Mafia. But real quick, just for a second, maybe if you could, because obviously there was a big thing here this weekend that Impact Wrestling had touched upon the UK, and one of your talents actually was something that did somebody big, winning the gut check. That was Harley Hudson. Harley Hudson, I know very well. I've seen her here in BTW. I've seen her really cut her teeth in a lot of the different promotions here in the scene. And talk about maybe for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, what it meant really to you guys, to the fact that Harley Hudson became the winner of the gut check at this past weekend's Impact Wrestling shows.
Oh, we were absolutely over the moon, Tom. We really were. She is an absolutely phenomenal talent. She has been alongside us for a good portion of the time that we have been running. And to see her put herself out there, because I don't know if you saw a few weeks back, they did the rankings, and she
Yes.
was in the rankings.
Yes, I did.
Um,
Yes, I did.
for her to build on that and go down to Coventry for gut check and to come out and win it, it's amazing. She has been a title holder pretty much everywhere, but not Bolton yet. And on Friday, she gets an opportunity.
Well, she's got a
Now,
lot of momentum for sure. She's got a lot of momentum.
yeah. Now this was before gut check, so we were ahead of TNA. We were ahead of that curve already by giving her a title opportunity. And she's going to go up against Hasley Rose.
Know her
Name
very well.
I'm sure you remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. I've covered her. Come on.
and Helena Razor.
Helena Razor, I actually, you want to laugh. I had her on the show about a year and a half ago, and she was basically like in her pajamas on the show. It wasn't like that. It was like she was like sick in bed. She was like, well, I'm going to do the interview. So Helena Razor, I know very well, and she's been a very worthy champion, and she's been somebody that has established herself quite well in different promotions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and with her victory recently to get the title back, she had it stolen from her by Alfie. But she is going to defend it with Hasley and Harley. It's going to be a cracker.
No question about it. And the entire card is going to be a cracker. And again, congratulations to Harley Rose, obviously, and all the things, Harley Hudson, and all the things here that she's done here, obviously, throughout the past few years to build up for this moment and to win the gut check, and obviously to be ranked here in just a respected magazine with all those different wrestlers out there. It shows you what she's been able to do. And if you are on Sportswire Radio, you want to check us out. You also want to check out Lucas Jackson. Make sure you follow him out there. He is on Instagram. He is at Lucas_Jackson_wrestling. He's on Facebook as well at Lucas Jackson. Just give him a friend request. And if you want to watch some of our prior shows here with the likes of Bentley, the brand new BTW champion, he'll be back in the house after Bonfire 3, A Nightmare in Ellesmere Road. You can do that here on the link below. And also we'll have more coverage coming up here on Sportswire Radio tomorrow night on Halloween, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time with the DBW Global Champion, the It Factor Cyrus. So I look forward to that. But if you are, again, here, we also have an internet radio station where 24 hours a day, if you have a podcast, you like to play music, you like to be able to talk live and stream your content, you can do that here. We are moving to a new website in the next few weeks because basically I have a job that I'm on that'll be off of next week that'll allow me to build back up a new website for Sportswire Radio where we'll be able to promote the internet radio more. And again, check out all of our great shows here. And also, again, check out Lucas Jackson on Instagram. Also, check him out on Facebook. We're getting ready here for Bonfire 3, A Nightmare on Ellesmere Road. Halloween continues here throughout the week as we get you ready for it. And another big show. And BTW shows are always some of the best shows, some of my favorite shows to cover. Some of my favorite wrestlers are in Bolton Town Wrestling. And the likes of Wildfire Nate Reese, the Wrecking Crew even. Certainly Helena Razor. Certainly Lucas Jackson, even, who's back for the first time in 2 years. The Modern Day Mafia. Can never forget about the Modern Day Mafia. AJ Grimm. I know AJ very well. I know that disappoints you, but AJ is somebody we spoke about quite a bit here on Sportswire Radio. And even Maverick Matt Williams, Jack Johnson, and Drill. Jack's been here a few times. Drill's Drill. I'll just leave that at that. But we are here getting you ready for the Modern Day Mafia. General Manager of Bolton Town Wrestling, Mayhem Lucas Jackson against the Bolton Club. That's right, the Bolton Club. Maverick Matt Williams, or disappointing Matt Williams, as Mr. Jackson would say in age again. All right, so let me ask you this question straight to the chase here. Let me get to it basically. And is Bolton Town Wrestling big enough for you in Maverick Matt Williams?
That's a hell of a question, Tom.
I've been told that I do that throughout my career. I have been told I can do that.
I think if Maverick starts to know his role, I think I could find a spot for him somewhere. I'm sure we'll get somewhere low down on the card for him. He'll be fine. All he has to do is just apologize for super kicking me in the face and disrespecting me, and admit that he's just jealous of me, and all this can go away.
So you think that if he apologizes, he can back out of this match now? Is that what you're also implying? Are you trying to negotiate this now?
We always say the card is subject to change, and I'm sure the fans can understand that if Maverick Matt Williams wants to tuck his tail underneath his legs and apologize so that he doesn't have to face the Mayhem Lucas Jackson and the Modern Day Mafia, then, I'll let it slide.
Something tells me, and I understand where you're coming from, but something tells me, though, that he's not apologizing, because the tone that he took here on Sportswire last month, at the very least, I think he's not going to apologize. So we'll certainly have to see. We do have 4 days. I'll give you that much. But I guess then you are saying that with the caveat that Bolton Town Wrestling could be big enough for you and Maverick Matt Williams. All right, fine. Fair play to that. But do you think, though, that after everything that you've done to him, even if it might be tough love, maybe if it's for in his best interest, do you think it's a possibility, though, that this could actually backfire on you, even though you may have the Modern Day Mafia in your corner, but to the fact that Maverick Matt Williams is going to be so motivated coming up Friday night that he's just going to all of a sudden find this inner strength to kind of basically hang in there with the Mafia, AJ's size and strength, and then this is actually going to backfire on you? You think that there's a possibility of this?
Oh, wait, that's a serious question?
That's a serious question. Listen, I said he was disappointing at the beginning of the show, right? But conversely, to call it down the line, I have to ask, is everything that you've done to try to maybe make things difficult for him to succeed in this company, conversely, does this motivate him to almost, let's say, turn the tables on you and maybe even the Mafia and come away with a huge victory that all of a sudden is going to basically make up for everything that he's went through from his vantage point?
Wow. I think it's a big ask. Don't you, Tom? But to be fair to you for that question, I'll try and give you an answer. I have been pushing Maverick Matt Williams to better himself, to be something that Bolton can be proud of. And if the very small, minuscule chance that he comes out of this with a victory, I'll be gracious. I'll be the bigger man. I'm always the bigger man.
Well, you are bigger than him. I will certainly not take that away from you. Okay, so you sort of answered that. Let me get to some more comments. Daniel Banner says Lucas's strategy is to just have the mafia do the work for you, then steal a victory. My money is on Matt Williams. Well, somebody apparently read my notes because I kind of asked the question, maybe not in that strategy, but in the sense that maybe Matt Williams is motivated. He's got a lot on the line. He's showing that he's able to hang in there and compete, and maybe he wants to get himself back into a contention for a championship, which you spoke about, which he held for. I was actually surprised it was 4 minutes, so I'll give you that much there. Want to say hello to the resident rock star, the WC Interstate Openweight champion, Sean Jovi. He says hello with a question mark. Hello to you as well. Want to say hello to my good friend Ron in the state of Pennsylvania. How you doing, Ron? Hope your day's treating you well. And Michael Blackheart loves the jacket. I feel like the jacket's different since the first time you came on. I mean, obviously you do.
Oh
You
yeah,
do. You are known for the jackets. If anybody,
there's a range. There's a whole range of jackets. There's a Lucas Jackson for every season.
I believe that. But I actually did want to ask you something before I get to a few more questions and a few other thoughts. I know you did some ring work here this past weekend for Britannia Wrestling, and I think it was their last show of the year. So maybe you want to talk about that for the audience here on Sportswire.
Oh yeah. So I've been working with Britannia just over a year now. They also love the suits.
They look good on you.
So
I'll say that they do look good on you. Michael's
it's
not wrong.
it's it's what attracted them to me. So, um, but yeah, so we had Frightmare down there, and we had the main event was a coffin match between Babyface Pitbull and Isaac North.
I know Isaac
We
North
had
very well. Yes, of course, sure.
we had a member of the Black Sheep, Jinner,
Uh,
versus Tony Wright
and of
in a
course,
triple.
and that was a match a lot of people were talking about on social media. And of course,
Oh yeah, triple
Jenna,
sweep match.
I've had Jenna on, so that and Jenna is actually somebody I'm responsible for getting booked in the United States. So yes, I'm sure that was a match I would love to see if a birdie could send me that.
But yeah, so they are based in Denbigh in
Yes.
Wales, just over the border from where I am. And their next show is going to be in January the 27th, I believe.
Well, I would certainly, I'm sure, be talking about that. And Jenna actually is somebody that I owe an appearance on Sportswire. He's actually asked to come back on a couple different times, and we haven't had been able to make it work on our schedules. So hopefully, I get a chance to bring him on before the end of the year, and maybe even I should say this. I guess I should say it because I'm live now. We're actually putting together a Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and I should probably induct him and maybe even induct you for your ring work. So maybe stay tuned before the year is out. So my 5-year anniversary is coming. So people want me to do something big.
If you do, I'll get a jacket just for it.
Oh, really? Really? So, okay. So is that a date then? All
Sounds good
right.
to me.
All right.
You've
So,
not, have you seen the gold one?
I have. Yes, I have. I'm always
Sparkly.
watching. I always follow what
Oh,
you're
I
doing.
know. I know.
Listen, listen. I think half the roster's been on Sportswire in some form in BTW. I mean, so obviously I know what's going on. Of course, Jin, again, as you mentioned, is a huge part of things in the Black Sheep, and also somebody else, Aton Steen, another interesting character that I know very well. So you have a stacked roster. We'll certainly, I'm sure, look forward to watching the show. And one more time, if you want to buy a ticket and you are out there, you can actually do that here in the link below. If you also want to follow BTW, you can also do that here on Instagram, Bolton Town Wrestling. Also Facebook, Bolton Town Wrestling. Also Twitter, Bolton Wrestling. And I want to remind people the aftermath of Bonfire 3, A Nightmare in Ellesmere Road. We'll have coverage for it because Bentley is coming back to Sportswire Radio. He is going to talk about the aftermath of it. He's going to talk about us getting ready for GT Ministries, their show coming up there in the Fountains Church on November the 18th. So he'll be here with us before then. So stay tuned for the date and more details. But obviously, as we're coming up toward the end of the show, and specifically Friday night, I mean, I have to ask you then, I mean, is there anything in particular, maybe as a warning or friendly advice, one more time you might want to give to Maverick Matt Williams before Friday night there?
Oh, some advice. Um, Bring it.
Really? Bring it.
That's all he needs.
That's all he needs.
Just bring it.
Fascinating. I would have thought something totally different. Run for the hills. Maybe put on your best Halloween costume. Don't show up. But no, you like bring it. Interesting.
Nah,
So you
he
want him to show up.
yeah. This has been going on for 4 years. Yeah, he's got training victories over me, but I main evented the white collar show that we were on, and I'm pretty sure that he was jealous of that. I am the general manager of Bolton Town Wrestling, and I am pretty sure that he is jealous of that. I
You
want to
know,
shut him up.
that was my next question to you. And a lot of people talk about your position that you've held here. And I have to ask you, are you concerned, depending on how things go this Friday at Bonfire 3, a nightmare on Ellesmere Road, that you could be in the hot seat with your position that you hold as general manager, that you could be on thin ice or be on a hot seat depending on the way things go Friday night?
So my boss made it very clear to me that the only thing that I need to worry about is making it to that match. If I don't turn up, if I don't make it into that ring for that match, then I'm gone. And I'm okay with that because I know I'm going to be there. And when your boss sanctions you to have this match, the gloves are off.
Okay.
I will not be held responsible for anything that happens in that ring.
So you're not concerned, regardless, though, about with your position with the rest of the locker room, depending on how this goes. You're comfortable. You don't think you're going to be on the hot seat. You're not going to be on thin ice. You feel comfortable that after Friday night, when the dust settles, that you're going to be fine with your standing in the rest of the locker room.
You know what, Tom? The last few months have taught me one thing. The locker room at BTW respects actions. And you cannot deny that over the last few months, I haven't just said things on social media, I have done things
Pick your
in that
poison. I mean,
ring.
yes, we saw Bentley and Jack. I mean, yes, you have put talent on this roster. I will give where credit is due, that yes, this is a show time and time again. And guys tell me through the grapevine, BTW is a place. It's got a great roster. It's always got great shows. The fans love coming. The fans are electric. They understand the wrestlers, the type of people that you've had here. Okay, so I'll give you your due. I'll go with you in that your standing is fine regardless of the outcome Friday night. So I'm going to go and take your word for it because you're the guy that's got the title. I don't. I only know what goes on in the radio. You're out there in the ring. You're out there putting this up together. You're making the day-to-day decisions that has made Bolton Town a place where it has thousands of followers, where it has hundreds of fans at shows, where it's had big name talent, where it's had the likes of Harley Hudson get respected and win things in Impact Wrestling. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take your word on it. But be that as it may, as we're getting toward the end of the show, I want to ask you then, what's your final words for Maverick Matt Williams and even AJ Grimm before Friday night, Bonfire 3, a nightmare on Ellesmere Road?
So, Grim, I don't have a problem with you. You you are a phenomenal athlete. I have seen you. I have watched you. I've scouted you very, very carefully since Maverick put his video up, getting you alongside him. But when you come in to a 3-on-2 match with only 1.5 men, you're asking for trouble.
1.5. Almost sounds like 2.5 men.
Now, 1.5 and 1.25 of those is Grim.
Oh, okay. All right. So I see what you're doing there. Okay. So basically, you certainly counted, and I understand where you're counting. So you feel very confident. So basically, you got nothing to worry about then Friday, right? Nothing to worry about?
I've, the only thing I've got to worry about is making sure that we have enough people coming through that door to watch me and the modern day mafia kick their ass.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? If you have not gotten a chance to follow Bolton Town Wrestling, you should do so. And if you're even in the area, you have a chance, go buy a ticket because I will always say this throughout the 2 years that I've known and covered Bolton Town Wrestling, Bolton Town shows never are clunkers. Bolton Town shows from top to bottom are some of the best shows out there. And guys tell me, guys, I'm not going to say who it is, but guys tell me all the time, Bolton Town Wrestling shows are always great. The fans get it. They're into it. They understand it from top to bottom. Management, it's a great place. There's no drama. This is exactly why you want to follow Bolton Town Wrestling. Again, Instagram, Bolton Town Wrestling, Facebook, Bolton Wrestling, Twitter, Bolton Town Wrestling. And if you want to buy a ticket, like I said, get them while you can. And also, Mr. Taft here, who's going to be my guest coming up less than 2 weeks from now. Yes, that's right. Less than 2 weeks from now. Actually says he likes how you think. And Thomas Taft's an interesting guy. And I'm gonna have to ask Mr. Taft when he gets in your seat, sir, in about 12 days from now. It'll be 8 o'clock British Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, why he thinks like you and why he likes that. So I'll have to ask Mr. Taft that, and we'll certainly have that opportunity then to do so. So is there anything else before closing thoughts that you want to say about the show, about the match, anything else?
Um, just to thank you for everything that you do for British wrestling.
Oh, don't thank me. No,
The coverage,
I have nothing to do with it.
the coverage that you give us is brilliant. I'd also like to just extend an olive branch. Maverick, you can hear me. I know you're out there. I know you're out there. Just apologize. Just say you were jealous. It all goes away. And I won't have to humiliate you on Friday.
Why, ladies and gentlemen, for whatever reason, I think it was One Direction and Timberland with that song Apologize. And I feel like I could hear that chorus, that verse, where for whatever reason, maybe this is what Lucas Jackson, our general manager of Bolton Town Wrestling, wants Matt Williams to do. Apologize. But something tells me here that Lucas Jackson is actually going to be disappointed because Matt Williams, I don't think, is going to apologize here. And I think that you're actually right from 10 minutes ago, is that we're going to see him in the ring with you, and we're going to see him alongside AJ Grimm against the modern day mafia and mayhem Lucas Jackson. Some may say it's 4 years in the making. We're going to find out at Bolton Town Wrestling's Bonfire 3, a nightmare on Ellesmere Road. This is certainly one you are promised. If you have an opportunity, go out there and buy a ticket. If you have a ticket, just go out there and buy it anyway, because like I said, you will certainly be enticed. You'll be thrilled. You may even be everything else in between. That's why we love Bolton Town Wrestling, and we love what this company has to offer. And I can't wait for more coverage. And Daniel Banner wants to say that he thinks that his previous comment speaks for itself, and he feels that he's always on the side of the good guys. Well, we'll have to find out. I mean, listen, that's not my opinion.
I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy.
Well, we'll have to find out. I guess, you know what? I mean, we'll find out who's good, who's on first, who's on second, who's on third, who's everything else in between. That's why you want to go out there again Friday night. Bolton Town Wrestling Instagram, Bolton Town Wrestling Facebook, Twitter, Bolton Wrestling, and buy a ticket, skittle.com with those links there. All you have to do, type it in, buy a ticket. And if you're there at the venue Friday, buy a shirt, buy a DVD. Just do something to support this company, support everything it does. It really is from top to bottom one of the best rosters. It has some of the best matches you're going to find out there. It's really one of the better companies around, not just in the UK, but of all the places around the world that we cover on Sportswire Rating. And congratulations also to Harley Hudson on winning the gut check at Impact Wrestling. Certainly a well-deserved accomplishment, and certainly I am sure it's only going to lead her to bigger and better things here, and also and maybe even some gold here in BTW. My friend, I could talk with you all evening, but I know you have to get ready for Friday. You've got managerial moves to make. You got to deal with the board of directors. You've got to deal with the owner of the company, everything else in between. And a bag of chips is the legendary Downtown Julie Brown, a UK, of course, the UK legendary MTV VJ used to always say it would always be everything in a bag of chips. And she's always been one of my favorites. So I wanted to make sure I put that little UK reference in there. So, my friend, I want to give you now the floor, give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say, the floor is yours.
Okay, so Bonfire Fury 3, Nightmare on Elm Sierra Road. This Friday, Bolton. Come down, enjoy it, watch Maverick Matt lose.
Ladies and gentlemen, short, sweet, simple, and to the point. That's why I can't stress enough again why you want to follow and support Bolton Town Wrestling and on Instagram. Make sure you check out Lucas Jackson. He is on Instagram at Lucas_Jackson_wrestling and Facebook at Lucas Jackson. We are certainly excited about the show. We are certainly, I'm sure a birdie is going to give us the match. I won't say who and how and when, but I have a pretty strong feeling that I'll be watching this match. That's all I'm going to say. But what I will say is, yes, I think I do want to induct you in my Hall of Fame, and I do hope that you accept. And I also hope that it doesn't go between 2 years between appearances. That you were on here in February of 2022. So somebody actually corrected me on this. I actually had my staff look it up. February 2022 is when you came on. So I hope I don't have to wait 21 months until you come back. So we'll certainly see, and I hope you accept, and I hope to have you back on here before the year is out then.
We'll see, Tom. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. Stay tuned, as they would always say. So at least you kept us hanging. But I know one thing. Thank you for coming on. I look forward to the future. I look forward to the show. And certainly, good luck out there.
Oh, I'm going to need it.
Well, you might, but we'll have to find out if Matt Williams also needs it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, your voice of all wrestling, the Reverend Tom Bryson, alongside me tonight to get you ready for Bonfire 3, a Nightmare on Ellesmere Road. That is Lucas Jackson, Mayhem Lucas Jackson, the general manager of Bolton Town Wrestling, as he's going to be in a tag team match alongside the Modern Day Mafia, who have negotiated themselves into the tag team title match here at A Nightmare of Ellesmere Road, Bonfire 3, against the team of Maverick Matt Williams and AJ Grimm. This is going to be one you will not want to miss. It's going to be as personal as it gets. It's 4 years in the making. And again, it'll be the Modern Day Mafia and Lucas Jackson. The Mafia will be in the tag team title match right afterwards, and they'll be wrestling again Maverick Matt Williams, or disappointing Matt Williams, as Lucas Jackson will say, always will, and AJ Grimm. So stay tuned here for more information on Sportswire Radio, as we'll have coverage here tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Cyrus, the It Factor. And if you're on our internet radio station, you'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming here in about 15 minutes. Until then, good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, on the #1 global radio station that is Sportswire